one of the major questions, and this is possibly more for the fives than some of the other numbers, but explaining where did this come from? Because we didn't make this up. Yes, we have done a lot of work on the body, but as it turns out, the core of what we know as Body of Nine comes from at least Sufism, Tibetan Buddhism. So the input of this is old. And so it was brought to the US by Gurdjieff in the early 1900s. And at the same time, shortly afterwards, through Brazil, I think it was, for Oscar. And eventually, by adding that and some Western psychology, became the personality-based Enneagram. And the Enneagram's been around since about the 1970s, and sometime relatively early on, through a set of books and conferences, a couple called Alan Sheets and Siska Tovey decided to take the Enneagram and, based on their experience with Aikido and other physical therapies that they were working on, to bring them together to a company called New Equations, and discovered that there were physically 9 different kinds of people.
They discovered the postures and facial expressions and the different ways of moving. They made the initial observations.
So we're standing on the shoulders of many giants, and Alan and Siska, Susan became a student of theirs in 2003. And then since 2012, Susan and I have been working on this with 8,000 people, going through CTI and 5, doing my knowledge mapping and understanding of physiology. And Susan spent literally years looking at thousands and thousands of pictures. And when we worked with people at Burning Man and other festivals that we went to, we were lucky enough that people wanted to know what we sometimes called their superpower, got their attention. And also, they weren't wearing many clothes. So it became very clear that not only did they move from the same place that we thought they would, but we could see why.
Yeah, we really got to see the micro movement, because I would work with, 100 people a day at Burning Man. And so I learned the micro movements that the different natural numbers make. I learned the specificity of their faces. We learned, and Martin would talk to everybody that I would identify, and he distilled the language consistency from being with these thousands of people. And then we iterated it over and over again, because somebody would say, well, this is how I experience life. We try that out on the next person of that natural number, and then we would iterate again. And so the way we describe the natural numbers and what we're teaching you today is really distilled from those thousands of people we've worked with.
And so one of the things about the Enneagram, it's very much psychology based and tends to focus a little bit more on the pathologies rather than the good things about people. And of course, it's really hard to get too much information from young children, for example. Whereas New Equations, they moved off to do things that are a little bit more music based, because they were trying to figure out how do we more easily activate people. And we've been working now with this stuff, as we said, for 8,000 some people. And we know that what we're talking about is people's nature.